Hey guys, it's Oluvids, and here we are on the review of episode 3 of The World Ends With You, the animation. I'm glad you guys have been enjoying this series, and it's been pretty fun so far. But anyway, I'm trying to hurry up and get to the plot of episode 3, so I'll just say that if you're into Square Enix, definitely give my channel a look, and let's try to get this video up to 10 likes so that even more TWEWY fans can see it. Alright, let's do this. So last time, the players went through 2 more days of the Reaper's game. During those days, we learned a bit more about the abilities, conditions of the game, and characters. But even now on day 3, we still learn a bit more. Before I get to that though, I want to point out that the couple from episode 2 is straight up dead. Guess we won't be seeing them around anymore. Anyway, so yeah, remember how Neku can't remember anything? Well, it turns out it's most likely tied to the entry fee that the Reapers take from each player. That may also explain why Rhyme doesn't know her dream. Shiki's, as we saw, was her appearance, and she elaborates on her whole experience with it. When she first saw what she looked like, she was really excited because she finally got what she thought she wanted. But as the Reaper's game went on, she realized that on the inside she's still not satisfied. She cared about herself the most, and losing what she had made her realize that. She also realizes that it takes a pretty amazing friend to make you jealous. But instead of being jealous, this time she'll appreciate the fact that she has a friend that can cause her to reach her full potential. Instead of being jealous, we can also discover our talents and make our own dreams come true. Shiki's ready to win this game and come back to life more than ever. This time she has the motivation to give life a second shot. Well, that's pretty nice to hear. Pretty interesting to see a Square Enix character go through a struggle that people in real life could relate to. I think the reason that TWEWY characters are so loved by the fanbase is because of that very fact. With each of them, someone might either partially or fully relate to this, and Shiki's the first example of that. So anyway, the mission comes in as usual, and it seems pretty easy. Way too easy. All they gotta do is go up to Tower Records, which is that big yellow building with Comic Sans font. They also have no time limit, even though it's extremely close to their current location. Pretty much seems like a free day. But with how the Reapers tried to trick Neku last time, it may be more than that. When the mission came in, Beat and Rhyme were also in the area, so Beat decided to make it a race. A race that only he's really trying to win. Oh, and before I continue, I actually wanted to point out a little detail that I've liked in the anime, and that's the product placement that you'll see all around Shibuya. In the game, the pins and clothes you get will be made by certain brands, and this one right here, D+B, is an example of that, and I really like being on the lookout for those. Anyway, Uzuki's complaining as usual, but apparently her and Karia have a mission from their boss. Can't be anything good, but we'll see. So Neku and Shiki finally catch up to Beat, and right when he's about to cross the street, Rhyme notices a noise symbol right under him. And before anyone else can react, she jumps in and pushes Beat out of the way. It seems that a sacrifice that Beat tried to make for her at some point was repaid. A noise that's shaped like a shark chews out the last bit of life that Rhyme had. And just like that, there were only 3 players left. Karia and Uzuki come down to taunt the players while Beat is just overcome with rage. He can't seem to lay a finger on them though, as they just toy with him. Though they can't do any more since the Reapers directly attacking players is against the rules, which I don't know about that one. But that just leaves the players and the shark alongside a bunch of smaller noise that just spawned in. Hanakoma pops up to bring Beat back over to his shop because of the fact that you can't survive very long in the Reapers game without your partner. That just leaves Shiki and Neku to take on that shark. After they combine their powers and give us some nice game quotes, the noise is destroyed, and they share a moment to take in the fact that they're the last 2 standing. Well, it's day 7, and the Game Master Higashizawa is now able to fight the players directly. Not only that, but Hanakoma called Neku to tell them that Beat's missing, so they'll need to end the game quickly if he's gonna survive. When Neku asks why this guy even cares about what happens to them, he just says they'll know someday. After that, we cut over to where Beat is, and it turns out that he's going to where Karia and Uzuki are. While he's yelling at them, they're kinda just smirking. You know, I'm just wondering what the people at the restaurant are thinking. Like, they see this oddly dressed girl walking in with this guy with glasses, and then this guy with a skull beanie comes in yelling about how they killed someone called Rhyme. You know, I'm kinda shocked that the Reaper's game isn't really common knowledge among the people of Shibuya. Though I guess it's cause it isn't always running. So back over to Neku and Shiki. As they approach the area where the Game Master is waiting, Shiki tells them how she felt more alive in the game than she ever did back in the RG. She then thanks Neku, and the pair decide to meet up after this. Shiki's gonna use her Mr. Mute to help Neku recognize her since she's not gonna look like Eri anymore. Now, here they are, facing off against the Game Master while the rain pours in on them. He notices how Shiki's grown since she started the game, and she reaffirms her newfound understanding of her feelings towards Eri. After that, a fight breaks out, but it's not looking too good for the players at first. Higashizawa transformed into a huge monster, and he's wreaking havoc on them. They do their little attacks here and there until eventually it seems like their uppercuts are working on him. But right as it seems like they're getting the upper hand, he slams them down with a devastating lightning attack. After they recover from it, they sync up and launch an all-out attack on him, which gives us a pretty cool sequence of Neku running on Higashizawa's arm before delivering the final blow. Right after that, Shiki and Neku are taken over to this white void looking place and are greeted by the guy with glasses named Kitanichi. This guy is the conductor, aka the guy right below the leader of all this, which is seemingly called the composer. He says that only one person can come back to life, and that person is going to be Shiki. Apparently, the thing that determines who comes back to life is how much progress you make as a person in the Reaper's game. From what we know, Shiki overcame her issues and became her best self. And what happens to the person who's left behind is that they'll either choose to just accept their death, play for another week, or join the Reapers. Well, Shiki protests, saying that Neku's grown a ton during the week too. Neku decides to let Shiki live and to play the game once more. However, something unexpected happens. So in order to play the game again, they need to claim an entry fee, which is whatever you care about the most. And well, considering he has no memories of his past life, and he's grown to care about Shiki, well, yeah. Shiki is the new entry fee, which means that she did not get to come back to life. Here's another example of how the Reaper's game is pretty brutal, and they pretty much have no kind of humanity left. Kitanichi did not seem to care as Neku was just on the ground in utter despair, and while Shiki faded away. Well, I guess there's only one thing to do now. Play another week, and to get both his own life back, along with his second entry fee, Shiki. And that brings us to the end of episode 3. So what do I think of episode 3? Well, I think this one probably beats out episode 1 and 2 in my opinion. We get some intense story moments as well as some action scenes. We saw them fight a Reaper for the first time, and we can see that those guys are pretty tough. Higashizawa was also able to transform into a noise, so it's safe to say that the others might be able to do that as well. I also find it interesting that they didn't show what happens to Beat after that, but I guess it's like that, so you need to watch the next episode to find out. So, before I end off, I'm going to talk a bit about how I feel about this first week overall. First of all, the pacing is very fast, and I think anime bingers will probably feel it a lot more than people who watch it less frequently, say like once a week or something like that. While it is a pretty short time, I think it at least does enough to get the viewers to like the characters enough to see where this goes. However, considering the fact that this is only 3 episodes in, I think everyone will know that there's going to be some kind of catch to the end of the week. In a sense, I guess this week feels like it's introducing the general vibe of both the show and the Reaper's game before it throws you into the rest of the plot. There is one thing that I'm pretty iffy on, and I'm sure anime watchers will be too. So, you may have noticed that I try to keep my criticisms from devolving into, it's not like the game, so it's bad. But I think it being adapted from a game is kind of hurting the fight scenes a bit. While it is pretty cool to see them fight a lot more dynamically than they ever could on a DS, the fights kind of go in a pattern so far. They either just fight and win, or they start losing at first and then they just use the fusion move and win. I think it actually works well at the end of episode 1, because the fight isn't just there for the sake of a fight, but it's also used to progress Neku's character towards working with and trusting his partner. When they fight on the other episodes, it kind of just feels like they're going through the motions, if that makes sense. And also, this conflict is literally the only time we ever see Ryan fight in the entire series. That includes all the games and Kingdom Hearts, so yeah. We all know that our favorite anime fights are there, not just to give us an action scene, but to also progress the growth of the characters and the overall story. But yeah, animation wise, it's pretty solid, though they do use CGI pretty often. The noise seemed to always be that way, but the players shift between 2D and 3D. I've gotten a bit more used to it since Toei seems to always fit it into their Dragon Ball movies, but I do prefer things to be fully 2D. Let's see, audio wise I think it's pretty solid. The soundtrack doesn't touch the actual games, but there were some songs here and there that I'd like to see come back. In case you were wondering, my favorites were Graffiti, Voices, Disconnect Me, Turning, and the first 20 seconds of Disturbing Atmosphere. The voice acting is pretty good, even though it is different from the game. I think that Shiki and Eri are still my favorites so far because of episode 2. The English dub in general has been a better experience for me, since it's a bit closer to the Western localization of the original game, so that's a plus for anyone who's an actual fan of the series. Well, that's my review of episode 3, along with an overview of my thoughts on the entire first week of the Reaper's game. I had a lot of fun diving deep into my thoughts of the anime, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I'm of course going to be continuing this series, so next review will be on episode 4, which is the start of week 2. Thanks for watching, and I'll be seeing you guys next time.